You ever get called a menace just for wanting to keep your family alive? That's how this started. Me, standing in my own backyard, listening to some HOA lifer in a red blazer say I'd ruined the community aesthetic with my roof. Said my angles were too aggressive. Said symmetry mattered more than safety. You know what symmetry gets you up here in the Rockies? Collapsed houses. Buried families. But go ahead. Tell me I'm the problem for trying to save lives. So I built it anyway. Steep pitch, reinforced trusses, engineered to shed snow like an avalanche before it could bury us. No, I wasn't an architect, but after 22 years with the Army Corps of Engineers, most of it above 8,000 feet, you don't forget the sound of timber giving way. You don't forget what it feels like to dig out bodies. My roof wasn't a design statement. It was a promise. And then the blizzard came. Not just any storm, the kind they call once in a century. Roofs cracked, homes split open like eggs, people scrambling for help. Meanwhile, my place stood tall. Clean lines, dry attic, not a single icicle. Suddenly, all those folks who used to roll their eyes started calling me smart. But back then, I was just that guy on the corner, the one making the neighborhood look bad. This isn't just about a roof. It's about standing your ground when the world says stay small and quiet. Because sometimes doing the right thing means breaking all their precious rules. Sometimes it takes a disaster to prove you were right all along. I remember the first time I heard a roof go. Not a quick snap like a tree, but this deep, mournful groan like a house sighing its last breath. That was 10 years back, 2 valleys over. Family of 4 inside. Only the father made it out. The paper ran their story for weeks. 2 little girls, same age as the daughters I didn't have yet. That sound stayed with me, followed me like a warning. When Amanda and I moved into Golden Timber Estates, I made it clear we'd build my way or not at all. I drew the design myself. 43 degrees pitch, standing seam metal, snow guards, double the county's max load. Didn't match the rest of the neighborhood, but I didn't care. Builder looked at me like I was nuts. The HOA is going to have a field day, he said. Let them try, I told him. My family's safety wasn't up for debate. First winter in the new place, I stood out back, mug of coffee gone cold, listening to snow slide off in graceful, whispering waves. Amanda came out in her robe, hair all wild, arms around my waist. It's beautiful, she said, breath fogging in the air, and it feels safe. Our girls, Molly and Lucy, had their noses pressed to the window, cheering the snow waterfalls. They didn't know how close danger could get, and I intended to keep it that way. For a while, nobody bothered us. Greg Hastings even told me he might copy my idea. Then spring rolled around, and with it, a new HOA president, Karen Delaney. She showed up one March afternoon, red coat, clipboard, sunglasses, acting like she owned the place. Routine aesthetic inspections, she said. Your roof deviates from the community's approved palette. I just shrugged, told her the CC and RS didn't say a damn thing about snow load. That's not our concern, she said. Community standards are. She smiled, but her eyes never did. 2 weeks later, the violation notice landed. Unapproved structure. Submit a redesign plan or get fined $500. Amanda read the letter and just shook her head. They're serious? Oh, they're serious, I said. She put her hand on the window, tracing the edge of the roof. You warned her. I did, but facts don't matter when someone's chasing control. I started a log. Dates, snowfall totals, photos of our roof clear while our neighbor's gutters overflowed. Amanda asked if I thought this would get ugly. Oh, it'll get ugly, I told her, but we'll be ready. And when the second letter came, heavier, angrier, threatening to send in contractors to fix it for me at my expense, I was ready. Greg stopped waving. June, who used to share cookie recipes, vanished indoors. But every morning, my roof let go of the snow. No creeks, no ice dams, just a silent promise. I won't hold what I can't carry. And every day, that promise hardened something inside me. HOA meetings felt like a trial. Karen presided like a judge, all red blazer and tight smiles. "Mr. Weller, our mandate is visual harmony," she said. "Safety's the county's job." I slid my binder of permits and photos across the table. She barely looked. "You're setting a dangerous precedent." "Precedent for what?" "Keeping our families alive." I asked. Dead silence. I asked for an independent review. She wasn't expecting that. Caught her off guard. "That'll take time and money." "About both," I said. And so it went. Anonymous complaints in the mailbox. Unmarked SUV watching the house. Red spray paint across my garage. "Ruin her. Get out." Amanda packed the girls off to her sisters for a while. Said she needed to keep them safe. I stayed. Pressure washed the paint. Kept logging everything. Lawyered up. When the independent review finally happened, it wasn't Karen's kind of crowd. 2 retired contractors and a former zoning board member, hands rough from real work. Karen made her case. Visual cohesion, property value, original vision. Never once mentioned snow or safety. I laid out my blueprints, my snow load tables, time-lapse photos of ice dams on neighbors' roofs. "I built this after a tragedy," I told them. "I won't risk my family for matching shingles." For once, someone listened. They overturned the fine, declared the roof compliant and safe. We had a quiet celebration. Pizza on paper plates, Amanda's hand on my knee, girls squealing at the chickens. But 3 days later, Karen sued me in small claims court, said I was hurting property values, demanded the roof come down. More complaints, more anonymous notes, more watching SUVs. Then the storm hit. Not just any storm, the storm. Power out, whiteout conditions, houses disappearing behind walls of snow. I fired up the generator, checked the cameras, watched the snow slide off my roof while neighbors' houses vanished beneath it. Around 3 a.m., I heard it again, that groan of surrender. June's sunroom collapsed. Greg's roof sagged. Karen's garage caved in. People called for help. I spent the morning digging out roofs, starting with Karen's. She could barely look me in the eye. "Please," she whispered. I handed her my shovel. "Start at the edge. Small sections." Greg showed up next, shame written all over his face. "Should have listened," he said. "We'll talk after we clear your roof." By the time the fire trucks made it through, 4 homes were condemned, 8 more badly damaged. The only one left untouched? Ours. The fire lieutenant shook my hand. "Wish more folks had listened to you." That night, Karen knocked on my door, handed me her resignation as HOA president. "They're blaming me now," she said, eyes hollow. "I thought you were just being difficult." "You weren't the only one," I told her. Morning after, the neighborhood looked like a war zone. Tarps, tape, busted beams. But something had changed. Neighbors stopped by, asked about snow guards, roof pitches. The isolation cracked open. June's daughter emailed Amanda, asked for a roofer who understood steep pitches. The McCaffers left a note. "You saved more than your house." News crews came. County officials wanted my input on building codes. Neighbors wanted to learn. At the next meeting, they asked me to teach what I knew about function over form, about letting people choose safety because it makes sense. The new HOA guidelines had no mention of uniformity, only recommendations. Fines vanished. Power shifted, quietly but for good. Amanda ran for treasurer, won in a landslide. Greg took over as president, his son proud beside him. Me, I just served as advisor on one condition: no rule will ever again put aesthetics above life. As winter turned to spring, new roofs went up, metal shining, pitches sharper, vents and guards everywhere. People joked about me being storm-proof, but there was no more malice in it. Just respect. Karen's name faded from the records, and no one spoke ill. The storm had done that work for us. Some nights, I still listened for the groan of failing timber. But mostly, I heard something else: kids laughing, doors opening, neighbors waving again. The roof had held, but so had I. And the line I drew, between what's right and what's easy had saved more than my family. So here's what I learned, and I hope you hear it wherever you're listening. Rules matter, but only when they protect what's worth saving. Sometimes you have to fight like hell for the line between safety and conformity. Sometimes you stand alone until the storm comes, and then suddenly everyone's looking to you. Now, I want to hear from you. Where's the line between community and control? Between order and survival? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me your story. Have you ever had to break the rules to do what's right? Because if you ask me, that's where real justice lives. Right there, between the falling snow and the roof that refuses to break.